Do a dad joke with sarcasm.
No, it's a very dry joke.
Which is why
it's a surface level, usually pun oriented joke.
Okay.
Which is why I love them.
All right.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the Great Malonzo with you. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday morning. It is 8:40 in the morning, which means it's time to take a little ride up to Charlotte, North Carolina to check in with one half of the Panther Nation podcast. Friend of the show and dude that I've known to have a beverage with up there at Bank of America Stadium.
Check out the shirt, man.
What's on the shirt? What are we rocking today?
Yeah.
Don't hate it. Rashad Beard here on the show. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, guys?
You know, you're looking at it. We're just hosting a radio show and trying to get to the damn weekend. That's all.
Yeah, almost there.
Almost there. Hey, let's get into some stuff, man. And obviously, as OTAs underway for folks around the country right now, we are starting, Rashad, to get some footage out here. In fact, yesterday got an opportunity to look at a couple of the highlights about BY, and from what I am reading, and I don't know how much you've been able to put eyeballs on it or spend any time breaking film down so far, but from what I understand, BY is, and this, I guess I should say Dave Canales has been, and it's no secret because he told us he was going to do this, been putting an emphasis on the footwork of Bryce Young, getting him more comfortable standing in the pocket, not jittering around the pocket. Easy to do when you play behind the offensive line you played behind last year. But I looked at the footage yesterday about some of the footwork that BY's been working on. And yes, I know it's OTAs. I know he's unguarded. Nobody's rushing him. There's no pocket around him. He's just going through passing drills. But, man, it looks a lot more sturdy than I thought it might compared to last year.
Yeah, I mean, at this time, this is what you want to see. I mean, you want to see him working on some of the micro aspects of his game. Footwork was a big, thing that he needed to work on, according to all the pundits, right? Everybody was saying that he's got happy feet. He's not planting his feet. He kind of throws off his tippy toes. And that's kind of been a big bugaboo for him. But now, we're working on it. And now is the time for us to kind of flush those things out so that when the pressure is coming, when there is a full rush coming, that is when, you can kind of lean into those habits a little bit more. And so, I mean, at this time, like you're saying, this is what we want to see from Bryce. Little improvements, and hopefully it leads up into the big improvements when the season begins.
I think for a lot of fans, right, we get into OTAs, and we've heard this. I'm sure you've heard it before. It's like, oh, who cares what they look like in OTAs, right? There's no pads. And this is when I want to see that perfection, that mastery. This is when I want to see a guy who gets the football in his hand and turns his head up the field and plants the feet and drives through the throw. Because if you get the foundation, the fundamentals perfect here, I feel a lot more confident than when we get to the fall and the pads go on and there's actually rushers in the face. I trust a little bit more that you're going to be comfortable. It is the guys. I'm looking at Bo Nix footage last night, and that's a guy that looks uncomfortable right now. Granted, he's a rookie, just like Bryce Young is this year. Granted, he's a guy that's been thrown into a complicated offense under Sean Payton. But I'm watching the footage, and Bo Nix looks a little unsure. Bro, if I can't trust you to complete passes in a 7-on-7 skelly when there's no pads on, I'm a little worried about you when August rolls around.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. And I can't speak to Bo Nix and what he's going on. I'm kind of focusing on the Panthers. I have no clue what everybody else looks like, but it's valid, right? If you don't look good in shorts and in the t-shirt, then you're not going to look good when it's live fire. And so, yeah, I mean, this is where the real fans kind of lock in, and we're not just casuals, right? You got to look into the micro aspects of the game, and hopefully, like I said, when we're fixing these little things right now, and this is part of what Dave Canales wants to do. We call him the QB whisperer. We've seen him work with, Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith, and those guys have turned it around. And who's to say that they didn't have good micro seasons and good, parts of their preseason OTAs as well? We don't know that process. So hopefully this is a part of Canales' process and things will get better. But all we can do at this point is hope it all works.
I'm going to ask you something a little abstract here, but I'm also going to ask you to stick up for, defend, maybe break down your co-host, old roadie David Rhodes, and I'm going to ask you to do that because he went live on the stream the other night without you. All right, I know what you were doing, what you had better to do than go on with Rhodey, but you were obviously busy.
Come on, you know what he was doing.
I do. I'm trying to keep the cover. The title of the stream was something to the effect of "The Panther Disrespect Continues," right? And I kind of had a knee-jerk reaction because on one hand, I'm like, all right, what disrespect? And obviously, your over-under number is set at 5.5. I don't know that any of it's a disrespect. The team was bad last year, right? So what did he say? Was there anything he said in that stream that stuck out to you that you agree with, disagree with? Like, do you feel the Panthers are being disrespected? And do you think that has any impact on the season 2024?
Well, I got to be honest. I didn't watch. I never watch any of the streams. I don't go back and watch anything. So I have not watched Dave's stream by himself. But I can kind of allude to what he's talking about. And most of the time, when you look at the mainstream, and this is nothing new, right? This has been always the case for the Carolina Panthers. We never get the mainstream looks. We've got to even when we were 15-1 in 2015. We were the worst. We were the worst undefeated team ever, right? At the time, we were the worst 15-1 team that ever existed in life because that's just the way the Carolina Panthers are treated. Small market teams. It's just the nature of the beast. But when you look at it, we're not favored in any games, right? So if you're a betting man, you might want to put some money down because I'm sure we're going to win at least one game. So we're not favored in any games. And so that kind of disrespect is just one of those things. I mean, we've got a lot to prove, and it's kind of warranted, right? 2-15 or whatever, not good, but I do think we're going to be a lot better than what people think. If you look at some of the stat predictions, things like that, and the Madden grades, all the same, there's just no respect for the Carolina Panthers, and I get it, not a good team, but we've got to earn it, and so no primetime games. All this kind of just bubbles up into the lack of respect for the Carolina Panthers. So I'm assuming that's what David was talking about.
Rashad just said he doesn't watch the PNP streams. Am I a bigger fan of the Panther Nation podcast than Rashad Beard is? Is that what we're learning right now?
Do not be critical. Some of us don't watch our stuff because you're hypercritical of your own thing. So that's what I'm guessing is his reasoning.
Yeah. I just don't have the time to kind of go back and watch stuff. That's what it is.
Or there's that. Yeah. There's a cat online by the name of Josh Larkey who writes for Sleeper, Roto World, 33rd Team, a couple other outlets he does some stuff with, and he put up his future of the team's piece the other day, and he put Carolina into a tier at the bottom of his tier list all by themselves. He put them in tier 7, a tier he called still years away from contending. Rashad Beard, I brought up the disrespect question because I even looked at that and went, years? Yeah, maybe year away, and I think there's a chance. But he said he is looking at this team being 4 to 5 years away from contending for the division, not even the NFC, not even the World Championship, for the NFC South. Dude, that's got to be the most pessimistic outlook, right?
Yeah, 4 to 5 years is kind of crazy. I would give you 2. Max, I mean, I think we'll be better than people anticipate this year. I'm not saying we'll win the division. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I do think we'll be competitive by year 2 into Canellis's reign here. So I don't, 4 to 5 years is kind of crazy because in 4 to 5 years, you're going to look at Canellis not being here if things don't go. If we're not competing, Canellis won't be here, which causes us to reset again, which would be just another cycle of terrible news for the Carolina Panthers. So I don't think 4 to 5 years is a stretch. I give us 2 years and we'll be competitive. Again, not saying we're going to win a Super Bowl, but at least the division will be competitive there. But yeah, that's part of the disrespect. I mean, it's easy, right? It's convenient, easy to say that because we haven't given much hope over the past couple of years. So that's just part of it, man. Just super disrespectful.
So I host, aside from this show, I host for the BetQL Network, which is a nationally syndicated gambling network. And the other day, one of the co-hosts and I were going over NFL over-under win totals. And we got asked by our producer, what teams are you hammering the over? What teams are you hammering the under? And I immediately threw Carolina out there, sitting at 5.5. I said that's an over bet for me because I think 6 is very, very reasonable. I think we've had this discussion kind of more back towards when the roster got dropped. I'm going over at 6.5. And by the way, just so for those of you that are into the gambling world, it's -128 to the over, -110 to the under, which means that Vegas thinks it's more likely they get to 6 than they get stuck at 5. Now that we've had a couple of weeks to digest the schedule, now that you've gotten a chance to see, again, I know there's no pads on yet, but see BY in the Dave Canales offense early, the rudimentary, elementary aspects of it. How you feeling about a 5.5 win total?
Yeah, I firmly believe we'll win at least 6. I've had us when the schedule dropped, we predicted I had us at 7 to 8 wins. So yeah, I'm a believer of 6 wins. I think it's doable. I think it's plausible. And like I said, man, we were so bad last year. There's nowhere to go but up. And I think that Canales is going to have us in a better situation quicker than a lot of people think. I think Bryce is going to turn this thing around. You've got weapons. The offensive line is improved. Again, I just think it all aligns to us being a lot better, quicker than people think. And again, we're not favored in any games, right? So, hey, put the money down. I'm not a betting man like that, but I'm sure we'll grab a couple. And I firmly believe 6. We'll get over that.
I think that's fair as well. We talk obviously down here in Greenville, South Carolina, talk a lot about Clemson and South Carolina, and there's a conversation that I've been having about Dabo Swinney at Clemson. I'm going to connect this to the Panthers. Stick with me for a second. He's very anti-transfer portal. In fact, the only major college not to bring in a transfer guy this year. It's him and the military academies, and that's it, right? There's also the fact that while Clemson is in on NIL, Dabo Swinney isn't one of the coaches that's kind of out there pimping his kids to make that NIL money right now. And my take on Clemson was, I think you got to define success, because I think it's been around long enough that you can't use NIL in the portal like, oh, it's a new day in college football as an excuse anymore, as has been done for the past couple of years. So I said it is a prove it year for Dabo Swinney. Either he succeeds or he fails with his philosophy, and he needs to either be solidified or taken to task and have some awkward conversations because of it. How many years until you say Dave Canales is in that spot? Or what can he do this year that at the end of the season, you will go, that was a successful season? Is it hit the over-under win mark? Is it just show me growth on the field? Like, is there a definition of success for Dave Canales this year that when this season wraps around and you and I do the season in review the first Thursday after, you go, I'm perfectly good with everything that happened?
That's a great question. I'm giving him at least 3 years, right? I want to give him some time to get this thing figured out. And that's one of the biggest criticisms of the Carolina Panthers is, hey, man, these guys aren't getting enough time to build. And then you keep cycling these guys out and they don't have time to actually fully implement their plans and goals. And so I'm giving them at least 3 years to kind of get it figured out, get it stabilized. But in regards to this year, what can he do to instill some confidence in the fan base and in myself? I don't think it's necessarily a win total per se. Obviously I would love to see 6-7 wins. That would be great. But I think it's more of a feel for me. Like I need for us to go out there and be competitive. I need for this offense. I need Bryce Young to improve. I need Bryce to be developed. I need to have the ultimate confidence in that, if we can fix a couple more things around Bryce, and maybe those weapons aren't quite there, if we can get Bryce on the right path and Bryce is improving, that's the biggest thing for me, because I firmly believe the defense is going to be okay. Evero did a great job what he had last year. I think that's going to be able to improve. I don't have any problems there. I need to see improvement in the offense. So if I see improvement in the offense, we're able to move the football, we're able to score, and these games are actually competitive, then I can be like, all right, if we're losing in the last, final drives and things, it's a competitive, close games, and we're losing, and we're just losing by a stroke of bad luck, then cool, I can deal with that. But I got to be competitive, and I got to see some competent football. That's my biggest thing. So if you can show me some competent football, maybe it will get to 6 to 7 wins. I'll be happy with that.
Made for more in the chat says steps forward, no steps back. And I really think that's pretty much it. Rashad Beard hosts the Panther Nation podcast. You can follow them on X at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, head to the YouTube channel. Make sure that you are subscribed up there. You guys got anything coming up?
Nothing too much. We got a couple interviews that we're working on. Hopefully those things occur, but not too much. It's kind of quiet right now. getting ready, geared up, trying to plan some things for training camp, things like that. But nothing too much going on in Panther Nation world.
I dig it. I dig it. Make sure you hit the YouTube channel, Panther Nation Podcast. Get subscribed. Hit that little what did it say? Hit the bell notification. I don't know what the kids are doing nowadays. All that good stuff. Rashad, you legend. We'll see you next Thursday, big dog.
Peace out, guys. Thank you.
Later on, that is Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation Podcast. Joins us every Thursday at 8:40 to talk Panther football. At the end of every hour, we all join Lonzo to go on the little adventure that we call a sports flash.
You're welcome. Welcome aboard. The Braves dropped a 7-2 contest against the Nations, and I sound like Rudolph, at home last night against the Nationals, rather. Rookie hurler Spencer Schwellenbach was tagged with the loss after a 5-inning, 5-hit, 5-strikeout debut. Schwellenbach surrendered a 5th-inning 3-run home run to Lane Thomas, which separated the two teams. Atlanta's offense put together 8 hits, including a pair from Ozzie Albies and Matt Olson. The Braves will try to split the series with Washington today at 7:20 with Ronaldo Lopez on the bump. College football may look a bit different and more corporate next year. Ross Dellinger is reporting that NCAA officials are considering allowing schools to display corporate logos